I remember my dad stopping us in the middle of the field because my day would start at 3 in the morning. So from 3:30 to about 7:30, we were working in the asparagus fields. Then we'd go get ready for school, go to the bus stop, go to school all day. And I remember these really pivotal moments in this field when my dad would say, your way out is education. So even though I was a migrant, when I was going to start high school, my dad knew enough that high school was important for us to have a solid year in Texas. And so that's when we stopped migrating.
When I was an undergrad, I started off as a mechanical engineering major. But after having an activity where I had to actually design a truck and I failed miserably, I realized that that probably was not a career for me. And so for me, I realized I probably needed to change majors. Luckily, about my second junior year, I fell in love with mathematics. And so that was one pivotal moment that still resonates with me today.
My parents were both pharmacists. My sister is a pharmacist. It was always just assumed that was my lot in life. I trudged forward, I took my bio courses, my chemistry courses, and they were fine, but it was really when I sat in the psychology classroom, when I better understood what makes someone do something or how I can help make sure they are more true to themselves as well. After a class one day, Dr. Rice, my faculty mentor, pulled me aside and asked me what I wanted. He knew that I would show up stressed to class, that I would leave class and be stressed after, but in the moment I seemed most alive and most self.
Probably my most memorable college experience is when I had a chance to attend a location, and I thought that everything was set up, but it really wasn't set up. I didn't have housing, and I ended up having to sit out that semester. Being a first-generation student, you have no expectation of what to worry about. You immediately switch to what do I do next? So what I had to do next was to find a ride home. What I had to do next was to think of what I was going to tell my parents.
I was taking an introductory English class, so I was occasionally doing other work while the discussion was going on. The instructor gave me an F on my first paper, and I went to their office hours and I protested because I had gotten the answer correct. She confessed that it was a good paper, but that she had given me an F because she thought that I was wasting my potential and I was not paying attention to her class in the way that I should have been. It was a really jarring moment, but also a fairly pivotal one because it forced me to take myself seriously.
My turning point actually was when I became a Chancellor's Fellow. And Chancellor Rouse-Caffey was someone who had seen me answering the phones in my other work-study job. And the next day, he called the office and wanted to know who was that student at the front desk. She's coming to work for me. He opened my world to the value of what I could do for others, and who I was as a person was very valuable.
That experience of being seen by a faculty member really was something that allowed me to see myself very differently.
I better understood what it is that I could get out of education beyond just meeting the expectations of my family.
The students, they don't always know what they're going to do with an actual degree in high school. They really need education when they get there to pick the major that's right for them, and it's okay to change majors.
I wanted to serve in a position at a college that makes sure that every student would have everything that they needed to do in order to be successful.